Writers, welcome to Week 8. This week we are going to be concentrating on drafting and integrating sources. This week you will create a draft of your compare-contrast essay and make sure that you begin integrating source material so that you can synthesize that material as you go instead of waiting until the week before your final paper is due. Visualize for a moment the discovery process. You went through this process last week, week 7, to decide for sure what you were going to concentrate on for this comparison contrast essay. You had many ideas, I'm sure, but narrowed them down. Once you narrowed them down, you created a planning activity. This planning activity, perhaps in the form of an outline, helps you focus on the beginning, middle, and end. A logical organization that you will use to create your essay. When drafting then, you should be able to create a draft that makes sense and begins to show unity and coherence. Once you do this, you will have a defined essay, a clear pattern of development. This will then allow you to take feedback from your peers and your instructor and begin fleshing out more details, making sure sentences are tight and clear, examples are clear, documentation and integrating of sources works appropriately in APA style, and then your final public document will present a complete discussion comparing and contrasting your topic. So how do we integrate sources? Consider for a moment, if you will, the idea of braiding. Braiding the hair, braiding a rug, braiding a rope. While they're individual pieces, those pieces come together to make something new. This is also true when you're using material from other people to support the ideas in your essay. Therefore, learning how to integrate these sources into your text is paramount to successfully communicating those ideas. Integrating your ideas with those of others is something you will do across your disciplines and in all areas of your professional life. But only you can make those connections and understand the methods necessary. You've seen sources integrated successfully, most likely in the pieces that you've researched for this paper. One method is to use, again, this braiding technique to visualize how the pieces fit together. Remember, your goal is never to just drop in a quote without any context. Instead, you want to make sure there is flow. There is a pattern to your discussion. So how do we apply these steps? First, you want to set context for the major point that you're about to make. Next, state that point clearly. Introduce the supporting material. Quote, paraphrase, or summarize that supporting material and document or do the in-text citation, which will reference on the reference page. In-text citation is like a road sign, and that road sign leads you to the source's address on the reference page. Analyze and connect the information to your major point and project forward into the next point. This is the transition. So the first part, explain, set context for, give us the point at hand, summarize it. Unlike film, a play is limited to the stage on which it is being performed. Focus on the supporting point. However, actors and audiences in live theater share a special connection. Then introduce. Introducing the source allows you to show the reader where you stop talking, a source begins, and you define credibility and give credit at the same time. Remember, in APA style, the author and the date always go together. To this end, Wrightwell, 2008, a professor of theater from Yale School of Drama, explains that as actors talk directly to the audience in a theater, both share a special intimacy that cannot be achieved in a movie theater. Notice what has happened here. You've actually been able to combine 3 and 4. Remember, when quoting directly, you must use quotation marks and you must use the page number. If you paraphrase or summarize, you do not need quotation marks. Then analyze and connect. This is where you make the connection to the source. This intimacy is a vehicle for expressing emotion. Then project forward. While this emotion creates a connection with the audience in live theater, action in film can also entertain and hold the audience's interest. A transition into our next point. The complete paragraph. Notice how the ideas flow together. The reader understands the focus of this paragraph, understands when you stop talking and your source begins, understands when the source ends, and you again pick up, but all is integrated. There is nothing out of context. Another paragraph, if you will. Homeschooling and public schooling seem like two very different worlds, but they have one common goal: providing the child with the education she or he needs to be successful. However, understanding the differences between the two allows parents to make the best decision for their child. Dr. Lee Partak, 2012, an expert in education from NYU, explains that families should look at the same facts when comparing and contrasting the options and make their own decisions. Both educational paths have merit. While homeschooling provides more one-on-one attention, public schools are crowded. However, public schools have more resources than homeschooling, since school systems can tap into taxes. Both paths suit different children in different ways. Again, a clear, focused paragraph. Apply the techniques. These steps are applicable in each paragraph and in different ways. Mix up sources. Don't go through one source at a time and block them together. Integrate them. See how they play off of one another. And imagine the final outcome. Visualize a coherent, unified paper using proper citing ethics. Have a great time. Draft well.